No, I haven't, Kanav.
Okay, so let's just see what box plot actually gives us. So a box and a whisker plot, also called as a box plot, displays the 5 number summary of a set of the data. So for any given data, you will get to see 5 summary of that particular data. And what is the summary? Summary will include the minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. Now I'm sure you must be aware of what is a minimum and what is a maximum. But first quartile, median, or third quartile. Are you aware of median? We did this in our class 6th or 7th, I believe. Mean, median,
Yeah.
mode. Do you remember these three things, mean, median, and mode?
Yes, median is the middle number, right?
The center value, right? The 50th percentile. You also call it 50th percentile. So let's just see why do we first of all need the box plots, okay? So this is how your box plot will look. You'll have a minimum value, you'll have a quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and maximum. Okay. And why do we need it? Is basically to just understand what is the variation of our data. Let me give you one example for that. Let's suppose you are working in a manufacturing company of a resin boxes, okay, and you are packing those boxes and sending it to the market, and people are buying it. Now just try to answer what I'm going to ask. Do you think is it fair that person is paying $100 for 10 grams of a box, right? I know that not every box is going to be of the same weight. It may vary, but how much it should vary, that is the point. So is it fair that someone is buying 11 grams for $100 and someone is buying 8 grams for $100? Is it fair? No, it's not fair, right? It should be 10.1 or 9.9, 9.8 or 10.2. It's okay. We can understand that. So we can have only this much of the variation in our data. Now, how we can find what is the variation? We cannot measure every single weight, every single box every time, right? So for doing that, what we can do, we can take the 10 random boxes of the packed raisins, and this is the weight that we have got. So we have the weight of 25 grams, 28 grams, 29, 29, 30, 34, 34, 35, 37, and 38. So this is the data that you have got. Now, to create a 5 number summary from this data is, first we need to find the first step is basically to sort the data in ascending order. So our data is already sorted, so we don't have to do that, right? Now, can you help me finding the median from this data? What is the median of the data? If you have this data with you, 25, 28, 29, what is the median? If you don't know how to calculate median, that's okay, I can help you out with that.
30,
Sorry?
32.
32.
32.
Correct, 32 is the right answer. So median is the
Yeah.
center value. So if you have even numbers, for in this case we have 10 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So what will be the center value? The center
I'm
value
just
will be
now
30 and
going
34. So we will
to
sum 30 plus 34 and we'll divide it by 2. But if you
Obvious.
have 9 values only, then center value is very easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from here also 1, 2, 3, 4. So fifth is the center value, 30th is your median. Once you have even number, then you will sum up the two center values and divide it by 2. So in this case, we have 10 values, which is an even. So we have to do the center of 30 and 34. So the median will be 32. Cool. Now, next is finding the quartiles. Now, if median is your 50th percentile, 32 is your 50th percentile, then first quartile is 25th percentile. So the first quartile is the median of the data points to the left of the median. Now you have to calculate the median from 25 till 30. Now what is the median of this left hand side data?
20.
29.
29. Correct. So the median, so your first quartile becomes 29. Now which is your third quartile?
35.
Then you have 34 till 38, it's 35. Cool. So now we have the median, the first quartile, and the third quartile. Now minimum and maximum is very easy. What is the minimum number? 25, and
25.
maximum is 38.
30.
Right? Now let's just write all the numbers. Minimum 25, quartile 1 is 29, 32, 35 and 38. Now how to read this? It's very clear that 100% of the boxes weighs more than 25. Is it clear? Is it true? 100% of the boxes of this data is having a weight of more than 25, correct? Now,
Yes.
quartile 1 is a 25th percentile. So I can say that 75% of the boxes have the weight of more than 29 grams. 75% of the boxes have the weight of more than 29 grams. And 25 less than 29. Then median is 32. So you can say 50% of the boxes have the weight more than 32 and less than 32. Then quartile 3, 25% of the boxes have weight of more than 35 and maximum is 100% of the boxes have the weight of less than 38. Right? So this is your 0, this is your 25, 50, 75 and 100. This is what I meant by 5 number summary. Now we can plot this in this way. Now I can clearly say that I have the boxes, 75% of the boxes are more than 29 grams. So the variation between minimum and maximum is, what is the variation? 25 minus 38 is 13 grams. Right? A person can have a 38 grams also, a person can have 25 grams also. But majority of the time, the 50th percentile person will be having the weight of 32 grams. So is it fair? 32 grams and 25 grams and 38 grams? No, it's not fair. So we will ask our production manager that the variation is too high in our data. We need to make sure that the variation comes to the point which is acceptable. Right? Now that is not your job. Your job is just the analytics. You are just providing the analytics to the company. And then they need to take some decisions so that the variation comes to the point which is an acceptable point. It could be acceptable in this scenario. Let's suppose you know that okay, it is going to happen like this only. We don't have any options for that. It is acceptable, then that's fine. For example, tire manufacturing companies, they have the width of the every tire, right? So 0.5 mm is acceptable width, and that's the genuine fact I'm telling you. 0.55 0.05 mm is the acceptable width of every tire, but if it is more than that, then they reject the tire. So they don't want their tires which are having more than 0.5 mm of the desired limit. Otherwise that will be the wastage for them. Right? Now to create a box plot in Tableau, you don't have to do all these things. I just wanted you to understand what is a box plot and how to read it. Though we will cover this in detail in the analytics sections. Okay? So we have in the analytics, we have the box plots with us. So we'll understand in detail with the analytical point of view how to read the box plots. But as of now, I am just teaching you how to create the box plots. Any doubt? Now let's just see in what kind of view we can use the box plots. So what is the distribution of budget for different genres of your movies in top 200? So what all information do we need? We need the budget, we need the genres, and we need every single movie, right? So we need the budget. So first we'll select the budget, then we need the genre, and then we need the title. Okay, you put anything anywhere, title, budget and genre, because it does not matter, because we'll be creating the box plots with the help of show me. Since we do not know the analytics version of creating a box plot, that's why we are just using this show me. We'll learn how to create box plot from scratch without the help of show me in the analytics sections. Now you click on the show me, and at the bottom you will see a box plot, the box and the whisker plots. You click in here and Tableau will create that for you, just like this. So can you first of all tell me which genre has the maximum variation in terms of budget? These blue dots are every single movie. You can see this is Marvel, the Avengers, this is Black Panther and everything. So which genre has the maximum variation? Action and adventure. Now, what do I meant by the variation is, so there is a movie which they have built in 8,50,000, and there is a movie which they have built for 350 million also. So you can see the variation, the minimum and the maximum, right? But what is the median value? So the median value is almost 163 million or 164 million. So 50% of the movies have been built with the budget of 164 million, more than that, and 50% under less than that. So if I am the producer and I see this chart, I would say that if I want to create the action and adventure, the minimum budget that I need to have is 2 lakh, because 75%, 200 million, sorry, 75% of the movies are built under this budget. So I'm sure I'll be able to achieve this. So far clear? And which genre has the least variation? I guess horror. The minimum is 0.2 million and the maximum is 1.7 million. See, the variation is very less. Clear? Now you must be thinking why this plot is not here. This is only covering this part, since this is your minimum, this is your maximum, this is your first quartile, this is your median, and this is your third quartile. But why maximum is not going up till here? The reason is because of the outliers. If I go to edit this, let me edit this box plot. In here I have the option of maximum extent of the data and data within 1.5 times the IQR. IQR is known as interquartile range. You don't have to worry about this as of now. We will cover how to calculate IQR and what are the outliers in detail in the analytics sections. So far, any doubt on box plots? Complete silence.
No, Kanav. It's kind of understandable.
Is it heavy?
Not much, but while we are practicing, only we come to know.
All right. So next is the activity. Now I want you to create a box plot for the audience score and see the distribution among different genres for all movies. Now what this will help me, it will actually help me, like let's suppose action and adventure, what is the variation in terms of audience score? If there are 20 movies, so ideally the variation should be very less, so 90% till 95%. Ideally this should be the scenario, but if there is a very huge variation, then that means you cannot be sure what users are going to give the rating to that particular genre, because the variation is very high. So this is what I want to see. So what all fields do we need?
Audience score, genre, title.
And title. So audience score, genre, and title.
Title.
And we'll go to show me and we'll click on box plots.
Box.
Now can you help me in identifying which genre has the maximum variation and which genre has the least variation?
Drama.
Drama has the maximum variation. So minimum is 56 and maximum is 94, right?
94, yeah.
And which genre has the least variation?
Romance.
Romance. You can say that, but the number of movies are very less. How many movies are there in romance? Only 4.
Only 4.
But yes, if you visually see it, yes, I would say
Next.
it's
Okay.
animation. So from 0.8 till 94, the variation is very less. It's just 14% of the variation. So anyway, people are liking it. So the minimum audience score that you're going to get is 80%. And this is the trend of how many movies? 18 movies. So that's a fair enough trend to say. The people likes the animation movie basically. Cool. This is an exception. These are the outliers. Anyway, we'll study about the outliers later. But do you know what are outliers? I've been saying it multiple times. Do you know what is an outlier? In analytics, outliers are our biggest enemies because they can actually skew your results. I'll give you the
Like exclusion.
sorry
It's like a exclusion.
exceptions.
Yeah.
It's like an exceptions. Now I'll tell you why they are very dangerous for us. Okay, now let's suppose you are working in a bank, right? And in a pilot campaign, what bank did is they contacted every single people for the loan, and then few users took the loan, right? And now they have collected the data of those users who have picked the loan. Make sense? Now, what are the details that you have? Because if you're working in bank, you can get all the details. So the details is, let's suppose you have the customer underscore ID with you, then you have the salary, and then you have the loan taken, yes or no. Cool. This is what you have. So let's suppose this is the data only for the loan taken, yes. So customer ID is 1, or let's just take yes or no both. Customer ID 1, so the salary for this particular person was 25,000 per month. He took the loan. Then customer ID 2, his salary was 35,000. He did not took the loan. Third, his salary was 28,000. He also did not take the loan. Fourth, his salary was 40,000. He took the loan. Fifth, 45,000. Yes. Sixth, 2 lakh. No. Seventh, 22,000. Yes. Eighth, its his salary was 23 lakhs, and he also took the loan. Ninth, 50,000, and he also took the loan. 10th, 38,000, he denied. Right now, this is the data that you have got. Now, next time you would want to be the smarter bank. You would want to choose only those person who have a salary which is more likely to take a loan. Now, the best way to do that is to take the average salary of those people who have taken the loan. So, how many people have taken the loan? 6 people have taken the loan. So, what is the average salary of these people? If I write it here, loan taken, salary. So, what is the average salary? Average salary is it's 41 lakh. What is the amount? Oh, it's 23 lakh. Let it be 23 lakhs. Okay. So this is your average salary. Let's suppose. Now what you want to do is you have filtered out the customers which have a salary of less than or equal to 68,666 for a loan. Do you think this is the right number? To filter out your results? I don't think so. The reason being is because this is an outlier in your data. If you remove this, now what is the average? 36,400. Now, if you are selecting 100 people out of 100, 80 may take the loan. But if you are selecting 100 with this salary, only 50 will take a loan. Right? So, A, you are increasing the cost of calling those 100 people and you'll be earning less amount. B, if you exclude this particular person and then you call 100, then your return on investment is very high because cost is same of calling those 100 people, but the return is 80 now. So this is an outlier. Now this could be a possibility that this particular person took a business loan from a bank, right? So while analyzing the data in the beginning, using that Whisker plot, I got to know I have an outlier. Now you can actually see whether that's a mistake while entering the data or it is actually something else only. For example, if you want to know the average salary of your of the company, you would want to exclude your COs, CMOs, and CFOs, because if you take them into the account, then the average salary will be very huge, because normal employee cannot match the salary of the CFOs or the CTOs, right? So you need to exclude them. They are not an outliers, they are a different class altogether. So understanding of domain comes in here also. So basically, if I want to tell you what is an outlier, outlier means something that you would want to exclude from your analysis, being those particular numbers will disturb your results, will disturb your average, will disturb all your analysis. You need to remove them out, or there is a different way to handle them. We'll learn how to handle the outliers in the analytics section of the box plots. Clear?
So, Kanav, if we remove the outliers like in the graph, the box and whisker plot is not representing of the entire data, right?
So
Like the
basically, as
median
of
is
now,
not
it
there.
is actually ignoring them. Now, why it is ignoring them is based on the formula which is known as IQR. IQR is interquartile range. We'll see how to calculate interquartile range in the analytics sections.
Okay.
Okay, so generally I handle the outliers with the help of IQR only. It's a widely accepted formula by all the statisticians that this is a best way to remove the outliers using the IQR.
Can we only have outliers for integers? Can we also have them for other data types like strings?
Strings, no. How
So it's
can
only
you?
for
Yes.
um,
How can you actually remove the outliers from strings? Can you give me any example?
no, that's what I'm asking. Like, is it possible to have outliers in like text values?
No. Outliers
So it's
can
only
only
for
be in
integers.
numerical values.
Oh, so box plots are only applicable for data that has numerical data.
Correct.
Okay.
For example, audience score, budget, box office collection, critic scores, any numerical thing, you can create a box plot for that. But to create a box plot, you would be needing the categorical values definitely. For example, if you want to create the box plot of the scores for every student, you need to have the student along with the scores. You want to create a box plot for boxes, you'll have to have the boxes, box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the weight of those boxes. Similarly, if you want to have it for budget, you need to have every movie and against their budget. In this case also, if we want to create a box plot, we have the customer IDs with us. Now, though it's a numerical value, but I would say it's a categorical value, because let me give you the best example for that. My name is Kanav and I have a roll number. So my name is Kanav and roll number is 1. So if I call myself Kanav or roll number 1, will there be any difference? It's same, right? The 1 is representing a particular object or a particular thing, a category. So in this case, this numerical value is actually just a number. That's it. We are not going to use it as a measure. We cannot do the sum of customer IDs. We cannot do the minimum, maximum, the average of customer IDs. Would there be any sense of doing the average of customer IDs?
No.
Right? So this is also a way to read a data. Sometimes numerical fields must be treated like a categorical field.
Okay.
Make sense? But in salary, we can do the sum of salaries, we can do the average of salaries. So anything, any numerical value which helps you to measure your business is a measure, and anything which helps you to categorize your measures or category, to add the segments of your data, that is a categorical value. For example, product categories, for example, your students, then you have a different products, right? Then you have customer IDs, customer names, any categorical values, regions, country, cities. right? You can have the sum of sales for all the cities, so that will be equivalent to the sum of a country, correct? If you want to see the sales by every city, you can add the cities in there. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now next is mark labels and annotations. Now this is also very important. Sometimes we want to highlight the particular marks and we want to highlight a particular text in a visualization so that users are able to understand it even further. Now what are marks? These blue dots, whatever you see, these are marks. If I go in this bar and bar chart, this is a mark. This is one mark. This is second mark. This is third mark. Then you have fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. Then this is also one mark. Now, what I meant by mark is, if I select this, which mark have I selected? I have selected action and adventure for this red one is related to box office worldwide, right? So this is how you can read the mark. This is box office worldwide for action and adventure. This is budget for action and adventure. So this is a mark. Now mark can be of any shape. That is why this is known as marks. In here, the shape of the marks is circle. So what is this mark? This mark is action and adventure, a genre. And what is the title? Star Wars. And what is the audience score? 43%. So this is a mark. Make sense? If I go to combined X's, there are 27 marks. Now what are 27 marks? This is 1 mark, this is 2, and this is 3. And I have 9 genres. So 3 into 9 is 27. So this mark is action and adventure for box office worldwide. This is action and adventure box office US and Canada. Now in here there are 20 marks. Now what is every single mark? This is 1. 2010 box office collection. 2010 box office US and Canada. 2011 box office worldwide. 2011 box office US and Canada. So this is also a mark. Now in here mark is in a line shape. If I convert this into circle, then I'll have circles for every mark. Line means just connecting them. If I convert them into bar, then it will be a bar chart. Still it's a mark of 2010 and 2011 of box office US and Canada. So this is a mark. Is it clear? What is a mark? Let me give you one quick activity. I am not going to tell you. I want you guys to tell me what is this mark called. What is this mark? Any idea?
Box office collection for genre drama.
Correct. This is for box office collection for genre fantasy and science fiction. So you have 9 marks in here because you have genre and box office collection only. Alright. Now what is this mark called? The mark that I have selected. I want to figure it out. I want you to figure this out. I'll not hover on it.
Number of movies in the year 2011 for
Correct.
action and adventure.
Absolutely right. So this is for year 2011. Genre is action adventure, and then you have the count of the movies, which is 1. This is 1 mark. This is second mark. This is third mark. So in total there are 60 marks. Cool. Now what is a mark label? Mark label means the value of this mark. So what is the value of this mark? 1. So in here, if you see, for few marks you have the value written on top of it. For example, this drama 2014, the value is 10, right? So the label is already there, 9, 14. But for few marks it's not visible. Why so? The reason is very simple, because Tableau thinks if I put number on them, then it will be a very cluttery visualization. But if you want, Tableau to force it, you can do that. How? You can select the individual mark, for example this one, then you right click onto it, go to mark labels, and instead of automatic, select always show. Now you are forcing it to show this. If you want to do that for every single mark, Control A, it will select all the marks. Right click any of the mark, then mark label and say always show. Clear? All right. Now we'll come back to this activity box plot. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this sheet, and in here I'm going to create a combined box plot for audience score and budget. So I already have the audience score in here. I'll just drag the budget into here, and then I'll go to show me and I'll select box and whisker plot. Now I have two x's, one is for the budget and one is for the audience score. My marks have increased to 373. Earlier there were 200 marks. Now there are 373 marks. What is this mark? Can you tell me what is this mark?
That's the exception.
It's an outlier, right? But what is this
Outlier.
mark? It's a movie that I don't know yet because it's not written which movie is there. So it's a movie for action and adventure and the budget. So the movie is Avengers Endgame. So this is a mark. Cool. Now what is a mark label? Mark label means if I want to add a label to it. Now we can have the customized labels also. Let's just see how. You select this mark, go right click, go to mark label and say always show. It is just going to show you the label as of now, which is 43%. Let's just format this into percentage. We'll go to format. In X's, first I'll be making this percentage with no decimals, and then in pane also I'll change this to percentage. I hope you remember what is pane and X's. X's means this figure, audience score, and pane is this. I'll do the same for the budget also. I'll convert that into millions. First I'm going to do that with pane, currency standard, sorry, currency custom, display units into millions with prefix as a dollar, and 2 decimal places or no decimal place. Let's just have 2, it's okay. Alright, now this is the mark that you have already seen. If I again go to mark label and say always show, it is going to tell me what is the mark label for this movie, which is 63%, right? Alright,
Yeah.
now I'm going to remove this mark label because I want to customize my label. I wanted to make it automatic. Now you select this. Once you select a mark, you right click, and then just underneath the mark label you have the annotate. Now in annotate you have three things: mark, point, and area. Now mark is only visible if you select a mark. If I do not select any mark and I right click and I go to annotate, mark is disabled because I have not selected a mark. But let's just select it, and I'll go to mark label, annotate, and I'll select a mark. Now a window will open. Now in this window you can write a custom text, but whenever you see something in less than and greater than sign, that means Tableau is going to evaluate that for you for that particular mark which is selected, right? So I'm going to delete this entire thing because I want you guys to add the mark after I have done this. Okay, so first of all I want to see the movie of this particular mark. How can I do that? You go to the insert. Which field will give me the movie name? Title. I'll select the title. Now this title will give me the movie name. Belongs to, this is a custom text. Now I'm going to insert once again genre. Has a least, or let's just change this. First I will write for genre, then for genre, comma, I will give the movie name. Title has the least audience score of, then I will insert the actual audience score. Now let's just format this also. I'll go to Calibri, I'll unbold everything. Now only genre will be bold, title will be bold, and audience score will be bold. Press OK. Now you'll have a custom text. For action and adventure, comma, Star Wars The Last Jedi is the title, has the least audience score. What a poor spelling. Least. Okay. Clear? Now you can extend this. You can put it anywhere you want. Now actually this is telling you for action adventure this mark is Star Wars The Last Jedi has the least audience score of 43%. Now we can format this box also. Now you have the box sided. If you don't want anything, you can make it none. If you see right now there is a bit of shading in here. If you want to remove that, you can remove that shading. And in here you see the line. If you don't want the line, you can say none. Now there is no line, but I guess line is important. Clear? Is mark clear? Can you help me in writing a custom mark for this particular mark? I want to highlight this mark also. Can you help me in doing that?
Yeah.
So I have selected the mark. I'll go to right click, annotate and mark. I'm going to delete everything. Think, what do you want to write in here? That's okay. If you want to choose the same format that I have done, fine. If you want to write your own custom text, that's also good. Let me know what should I write.
We can select title.
We can select title. So this will give me the name of the movie first of all. Then
In action and in genre has so and so budget.
in genre has. So since this is an box plot and this is an exception, I would have written title in genre has the maximum budget, which is this, right?
Yes.
Has the maximum budget,
But
and then in brackets I can write this
no.
some budget. There you go. Now if you want to format that, that's a different thing, so I'm not going to do that anyway. Now I'm just leaving it everything in bold so far. Cool. Avengers Endgame in action adventure has the maximum budget, which is 356.00 million. Clear?
Yes.
This is how we actually add the labels to only outliers in the combined box plot basically. Now next is point. Now what is a point? Point is very simple. You only get one value. So if this point is 43% from the axis, what will be this point? Can you tell me what will be this point? 20%. I'll go to annotate and I'll select a point. Insert, you'll only have this audience score because you have the axis of audience score only. So it is only going to give you. So you write anything what you want to write. Let's just write it. So the point is, and then you have to insert that. Okay. So this is 19%. So if I do something in here, then what will be the point? Even if I do it here, what will be the point? Somewhere around
60%.
60%. It's 59.
So why would we want to show the points in
Sometimes we want to highlight a particular number in an axis. Sometimes. Only then we want to show the point. I did it once where I wanted, I have the average. So basically I was working for the pharmaceutical organization, and then I had the average, the COVID report positive was 80, but the numbers were 60, 50 and so forth for every particular city in United States. So I highlighted the point of 80 like this only. So I written the custom text. Instead of the point is, I wrote something like this. So the average case in NV is
Okay.
80%. That's it. And so it was just letting user know that
Hmm.
okay, this was the average case, and in their state, which is in Washington, everything was below the average. That's it. This could be the one way to do that. Cool. All right, I have deleted all those points. Let me delete this also because point is very simple. Next is area. Area is also very simple. Since there is no point, no mark, you select the area and then you can write whatever you want to do. For example, this area belongs to outliers. Now you can extend that something like this. So this is an annotation. You are writing some custom text to that particular area. That's it. So mark is the important because it will give you the information for the mark. Point is it is going to give you the information for the axis. Area, the entire available area. You can expand it wherever you want, wherever you want to keep it. It's your choice. Cool, clear, simple. Any confusion in mark labels and annotations and what is a mark? Because this marks thing will be very important in our next section, because that is when we'll learn to calculate what is the marks and how these marks will increase. We'll basically learn in more detail about the marks. Clear? If you want to read more about mark labels and annotations, I have already given you the link of Tableau website. You can go in there to read whatever I've just taught you so far. You'll be able to do that. Cool? Alright. Now next are titles and tooltips. So what is a title? To give a title to a sheet, we can make the custom and dynamic titles. Now double click on the title at the top left of your sheet to open a window and change the text format accordingly. So if I go to my sheet, what is the title of this chart? Combined box plot. Now titles are the things of your visualization which should be very clear. It should actually let the user know what this graph is all about. So as of now it is giving me the combined box plot. Now if I click in here, what it is? Sheet name. And since it is in less than and greater than sign, that means Tableau is evaluating it. And what Tableau is giving me? The name of the sheet, combined box plot. Now let me write my custom box title. So this is my box plots for audience score versus budget. I can have it in Calibri font is 20, make it bold and make it in center. And also for audience score, I will be inserting and putting the audience score. Now what this will give me, and I'm going to reduce the size of this audience score to 16 and italicized. Similarly in budget, and I want this in the brackets. Brackets should also be 16, and yes, they are 16. No, bracket is 20. I want this to be 16. Cool. Versus budget, this is also in 16, and I will put my budget in here, insert the budget. Now what this will give me, since this is not for one mark, this is for entire for all the marks, so it will give me minimum audience score and maximum audience score. This will give me minimum budget and maximum budget. Let's just see it. And we can make the color also in white. As of now the background color is also white, so nothing is visible, but I can format my title and I can change the shading to, let's suppose, black, something like this. So box plots for audience score, so the minimum is 43% and the maximum is 98%. It could be for any genre. Then budget minimum is 0.10 million till 356 million. The maximum I already know, this is the maximum, and the minimum is 0.10 million. Now this is a dynamic text. Now we'll see more once we move forward, how we can add some dynamic titles. Clear? Very simple. You can double click in here. If this window is not visible to you, if this title is not visible to you, you have this visualization, there is no title at the top, then go to worksheet. In here you'll have the option of show title. Select it. Okay, clear? Now the last and final thing for this particular section is tooltip. Now what is a tooltip? To create a hover feature in a view, we use tooltip. If we wish to highlight or showcase more information about the view on hover, we will use the tooltip. For example, if I hover on this particular mark, do you see I am getting a tooltip? This is a tooltip. Genre, action and adventure, title, all is lost, audience score 63%, and then I am also seeing the budget. Similarly, if you hover on this mark, it is also going to show you the similar thing. Correct? Now I'm going to change the tooltip for the budget. You have the option of tooltip in here. Click on the tooltip. Let's just remove it. It's similar concept. Now I'm going to select only the movie name, title. Then in bracket I will be putting the genre, and then has had or with a budget of, and then I'll put the budget. Let's just make it Calibri. Calibri is my favorite font. List everything unbold first. Title bold, genre bold, and budget bold, and make it italicized. Press OK. Now if I hover on this, I'll see this Avengers Endgame action adventure with a budget of 356. Let's just correct the spelling of budget. Now if you hover, this is what you will see. Now since I have only corrected in the budget card, so all the marks of the budget will be in a similar fashion, but if I go to the audience score, the tooltip is going to be same. So can you help me in changing the tooltip for audience score also? And let's suppose I also want to show the in budget only. Let's just do that with a budget of this and an audience score of this thing should be unbold, but in here I want to add the audience score. Do you see the audience score in this list in the insert sheet? I have title, I have budget, and then I have genre. That's it. Then these are the default names, the data source name, date update time, what is the sheet name, workbook name, page count, page number, and so forth. But the field names are only genre, some budget, and title. Where is the audience? If you read, there is no audience score. Now the reason why there is no audience score, because in this card what I am using title and then I am using genre. I am not using the audience score for the budget card, correct? But if you want to add the budget, what you can do, you can drag audience score into detail. Once you have added the audience score into the detail, now you go to the tooltip and you'll have the option of insert of audience score, and you can make this bold. There you go. So if there is not a field in your data to add as a tooltip, you can put that into detail card. Clear? Now can you help
So,
me?
Kanav,
Yep.
I have a question here. We haven't used or we haven't dragged other fields over to the marks card, right? But they are showing up here.
So they are only showing title and the genre. If you see in insert, there is only title and genre and
Oh,
budget, since it's a budget card. Now audience score is there because I have
okay,
added the
okay,
audience score into detail.
okay.
There is no content rating, there is no in theaters, there is no synopsis, there is no title, nothing is there, right?
Okay, got it.
So can you help me in doing the same thing for the audience card also in this? I want the similar view. So I'm going to tooltip. I'm going to remove it. Can you help me with that? The first is title with a budget of. Do I have a budget? So what should I do if I don't have a budget in the audience card?
Add budget to detail.
Add budget to detail. Now you go to tooltip with a budget of. Now you have a budget and an audience score of. Insert audience score. Definitely this is not formatted as this, but that's okay. But I hope you got how to add the custom tooltips. Now there are multiple ways of opening this window. One, you can select it from the card itself or from a worksheet. You can go and there is the option of tooltip. Okay. Now, can you help me in doing this? Let's have only title as a tooltip and synopsis to each movie when we hover. I want this thing to happen for all the card, audience score and budget both. I only want the title of the name, the title of the movie and the synopsis. So I can go to the all to change it. Tooltip, insert, title. All right. And then I also want the synopsis.
Synopsis to detail.
Synopsis to detail. Tooltip.
Insert synopsis.
Insert synopsis. Perfect. Now we can have your title. Let's just first change the font to Calibri. Unbold everything. I only want title to be in bold. Okay. Now we see Avengers Endgame, then the synopsis. All is lost. Then you have the different movies, Love and Friendship. It's Camera Person, McQueen, Spy, and so forth. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Now, how cool it would be if I hover on this particular movie, Star Wars The Last Jedi. It tells me the synopsis and the movie name, but also if it tells me the where is my there you go. If how cool it would be, let me change this into green and budget into red. It tells me the particular collection across the budget. So this chart for every single movie. So if I hover on this, it should give me the bar only for my movie. How cool that would be. So let's add a chart of budget versus box office collection in a tooltip. So we have this bar in bar chart, right? I want that in there. How can we have that? And also keep a note, right now there is no filters in this chart, right? But if I go in there, it's actually very simple. You go to all, go to tooltip, after synopsis, you insert, and there is the option of sheets. From here you can select a sheet, bar in bar chart. Cool? And press OK. Now what is happening if you hover on it, you can see it. Box office worldwide, this is for Star Wars, this is for All Is Lost, this is for I don't know, this is for Paddington, this is for Isles of Dogs, this is for Ford versus Ferrari, this is the peanut butter, and this is the Spider-Man Far From Home. You can see it. Cool? Now what Tableau is actually doing, it has added a filter for you in here. Automatically a filter is there. So whenever you hover on one particular title, it filters the title in here. That's it, because you have title in this sheet also and you have title in this sheet also, right? That is why this filter is happening. So make sure that the fields are same in both the fields. the field which you want to filter once you hover on it, because you want to see the data only for all is lost. So in this sheet, all is lost must be there. In this sheet, all is lost must be there, and all is lost is there, right? There you go, all is lost is there. If I add some different sheet, let's just see it. I'm going to remove it and let's just add a different sheet now. Insert sheet, bar in bar chart activity. Not, it should be bar in bar chart. Insert sheets, activity bar in bar chart. Okay. Now if you hover, it is going to show you for action and adventure only. It will be same for every genre, because in here, in activity bar in bar chart, you only have genre, right? So it will be filtering only the genre. It cannot filter the movie. All is lost can't get filtered. It is only filtering the genre. Correct?
Yes.
Make sense? So it's not something which is out of the box. It is logical. So you need to have that field in there. But it is possible. Bar in bar chart. Now it will give you that view. See. Clear? This is everything about the different chart types. Now tomorrow we'll be moving into the fundamental sections where we will learn how to navigate Tableau, what is the aggregations, what are the granularities, then level of detail, dimensions, measures, discrete fields, continuous fields. Okay? So we'll start working there tomorrow. But meanwhile, you go through this session once again, try to do every activity, and I'm going to give you one challenge that I want you guys to do that on your own, and we'll discuss it for 5-10 minutes. Take a look at this chart. I want you to create this in a similar fashion. Okay, the slide number is 13. Take a look at this, and I want you to create just like this. I can give you one example. It's a dual axis chart, and I have used the same field, box office worldwide, twice. One is in a bar, another was in a circle. Right? I want you to figure out which dimension I have used. Try to do that. We'll take first 5 minutes to do this activity tomorrow, and then we'll move to the fundamentals. Okay? Any doubts before I stop the recording?